Good morning, traders. Today is the 4th of December. We're looking at a pretty decent move in the markets overnight. SPY is trading up near 506, which is very close to the upper range that I had projected right here, roughly 506, 505 and a half. We're going to be probably running into some resistance right here. We are looking at a move possibly up into the 508, 510 area before rolling a little bit down into this channel. We do have my cycle patterns working again, thanks to Excel. We are in currently a bullish trend with explosive trending. We're looking at a topping pattern today. So we're looking for really kind of a rollover top. Let me come down here to the 1 hour chart, kind of show you what's going on. And remember, we're looking at a potential rollover top formation here. So we're trading up here near 606, 605, 60. I believe we're going to see some moderate rollover. We start somewhere in this area, possibly move up to 606 and change, and then roll back down to potentially fill this morning gap. So you're going to be looking at a rolling topping formation today, likely in the markets. We do have a flat down day tomorrow, and then a Harami inside day on Friday. Now, this is leading to this next week here, the 9th through the 13th, which is about a week and a half before Christmas. And I think you're going to be looking at some really mild volatility in a melt up mode. Now, the Santa rally that we had talked about, let me come over here and go to the SPY. And I had talked about kind of a moderate Santa rally melt up. We're getting a pretty solid move here on this breakaway phase, and this shows you my resistance area right pretty much where we're going to open today, and then a higher resistance area right up here. And I think these two resistance areas are going to be very key to what we're doing, and we're going to likely see a rollover into a pre-Christmas range. Now, maybe it's going to be down into these lows where I projected, maybe only, kind of into this area here. But I think we're due for a bit of a rollover here, and I think we're going to get some, like I mentioned yesterday, some real unusual news. I mean, we just had a pardon of Biden's son. I mentioned this yesterday. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it wouldn't surprise me right now if Biden completely resigned from the presidency, putting Kamala in for the next 30, 60 days. And then Kamala pardons Biden and maybe others. And I think that would be a bit of a shocker. Given what's going on and given what's happening, I mean, it's just essentially surprise, 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 as Gomer Pyle used to say. So right now, I'm urging everyone to continue to stay cautious. We do have this melt up pattern you can see here. We're continuing here into this trend. So, and I know some people have been like, "Oh my gosh, my eyes, your charts." Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. If you don't like my charts, like I said, go find somebody else to look at. It's really, I'm just trying to show you what I see. And I draw quite a bit because I want it to be visual. I want it to stick for you. So, again, we are looking at a pretty solid melt up channel here. If we were to pull back in this channel here, we'd be looking at 599, potentially maybe into this 590 area, 588 area. We did not get the deep pullback for the excess phase peak pattern. And we are still watching this 582 area for support. But like I said, we're in this kind of a moderate melt up phase here. And I think we're really looking here at the 615, pretty much the 615, 620 area. So, I mean, I would move this up a little like this and say that this is kind of our target area right now. You're going to have a push. I think you're going to continue to push here. So if you look over here, we got our flat down and we get into a blank day on Monday. In counter trend, a bearish exhaustion pattern, meaning that we should roll back to the upside, flat down, breakaway, and then a carryover in counter trend mode. So we're going to be struggling here until we get into really this 16th, 17th gap up, lower, counter trend will be a gap down, upward, and then a top. So really probably right here in the 19th. So if I were to come back over here and mark where I think the top is going to be, we'd be looking at the 19th, right about here. And then that then changes this potential setup to be more along the lines of consolidation, rally, consolidation, possible rally, and then a roll, possibly into that area, maybe down into this area. So we're kind of looking at a struggling rally phase here until around the 19th. And then, like I said, because of this top pattern here, which is again what we're getting here, moving into this breakaway trending gap potential and breakaway, I think we could be looking at kind of a topping rollover pattern here. Maybe, maybe not this deep, but it wouldn't surprise me to see some surprise out of Washington and the Biden administration before the end of the year. Having gone through Christmas, settling into the end of the year, potentially watching Biden resign around the 30th or the 31st, putting Kamala in, and then having Kamala run for 15, 20 days before the inauguration. That would not surprise me, guys. Okay, so let's look at the QQQ. Same type of setup. We're moving upward. We're currently at 520.30. We're up almost 0.75%. And we're moving up into this channeling. Let me find the 19th. That's Christmas. So there's the 19th. Let me remark Christmas. Right there. And again, what we're looking at is a potential rally up into the 19th. Again, the NASDAQ's broken out to these new all-time highs, which is great to see, upward trending. We're probably going to run into some resistance around 522, 523, and then maybe up here into the 527, 528 area. Then I think we're going to roll into the end of the year. And I've drawn that a little too much, so let's try it again. Resistance, resistance, and then rolling into the end of the year, basing through the beginning of the year and rallying back out. I think that the closer we move to the inauguration, which is right roughly here, I think we're going to be looking at the rally phase continuing. But I do, like I said, I do believe that we're running into a bit of a warning sign with regards to unknowns. And I kind of talked about this as the anomaly event. Didn't know what was going to happen really with Biden and the election and Trump. I mean, let's face it. I mean, at this point, we don't know. Trump's waiting to get in, and Biden and the Democrats are going to play what they want to play right now. And I think they just don't care. I think that's what they're talking about. And Biden, I think he's doing what he thinks or feels is essential related to his family and his son. But I think it's really more of a we just don't care mode. I really do think that they're just doing what they're doing because they feel they have to. So let's see how this plays out. Again, we're looking at a pretty solid rally phase. We could get above the 520, 530 area on a strong rally. I mean, the NASDAQ and everything is very bullish right now. Even my longer term modeling systems, my Mint rotational modeling system, All of the sector trends are all very bullish right now. We are getting moderate volume. We are typically in a Santa rally mode. So, to expect anything like a substantial pullback is crazy, in my opinion. We are looking, I mean, even if you look at this is a little 2 or 3% pullback. This is really nothing. We get 2 or 3% pullbacks all the time. Here's a 2.5% pullback. This looks like a 4.5% pullback, 6.5. I mean, we can get a 3 or 4 or 5% pullback in the NASDAQ in an uptrend and still continue to rally. So we're likely going to continue to rally all the way through Q1, in my opinion. So be prepared. Little bitty pullbacks every now and then, but unless something really breaks, we're looking at a pretty solid rally phase. Okay, so let's take a look at gold and silver. Silver is really moving quite well to the upside here. Well, was until I just started this video, it looks like. It's breaking downward pretty hard today, at least from 31.50 down here to 31.15. That's about a 30-cent move to the downside, about 10% or 1% roughly. But again, we need to take a look at this upward trending. I think gold and silver are going to move substantially higher through this breakout rally. I think this is going to be a move. If you take a look at the gold cycle patterns today, we have a nothing pattern after our momentum rally yesterday. We have nothing today, then a top, then a reversal rally on Friday, which is in counter trend mode. So, my thinking is that after this apexing pattern and after we move out into this channeling, I think we're looking at, again, some sort of a potential move down into this 648, 650 area, or 2648, 2650 area for gold, looking for support. And that may be something along the lines of silver moving back into this, possibly into this area here, looking for support. We are going to potentially see a fairly solid rotation in trend. So I am going to continue to believe that as we set, and you can see here, as we continue to set these higher lows, I think we're going to be moving to the upside in silver, and I think we're just going through the volatility period. Now, I had urged traders to stay, fairly cautious through this rotation. I mean, we are getting fairly decent 1.5% swings in this move. And really, we are not going to see gold make any big move until we get above this 27.20 area. And we're not going to see silver make any big move until we get above this 31.60 area. So remember, we've got to get above this area here for silver to make a big move to the upside, and we've got to get above this level here for gold to make another rally attempt to the upside. Until then, we are kind of trapped in this consolidated sideways phase here, struggling to kind of get out of our own way. Let me get rid of some of these lines. And it really comes down to prices stuck in this flagging range. It's trying to break out in silver. You can see I've drawn the flag down. We're rolling back up. We're trying to break out. If we do, we're going to probably rally up into, beyond, I would say, this level, but into a rally phase about equal to this. So we copy that, move this here. That puts us up into the $33 area, roughly. Okay, so a big move here was going to be from 31.60 to 33. That's going to be about a 5% rally in silver, which again, a breakaway here would put us roughly through this range here. in gold. And that would then be approximately 28.20 as an upper target for gold. We just got to really get out of this range. Until we get out of this range, which I can draw this over, till we get out of that range and this range, we're kind of trapped. And that's why we're not going to see a whole lot of movement right now, is because we're trapped. Okay. Now let's go take a look at Bitcoin. I had a guy commented yesterday that, that 60 grand seemed like a low level. I don't remember suggesting 60 grand. I did suggest this 68 level, 69,000 level, which aligns back here with support. But we need to see how this plays out. We are flagging. This is a daily chart. Until we get above this level, Bitcoin is trapped again. I'll draw the trap again. We're inside this flagging range right here. So we are trapped within that range. It is going to stay consolidated within that range until it either A, breaks above this level, 99,800 roughly, to the low level here of 90,600, let's call it. My assumption is that we are going to break to the downside because we have this pattern setting up, this 1, 2, 3 type pattern setting up, which is the breakdown to consolidation would be the next move. So I believe that this is the most likely outcome right now to the downside, simply because this excess phase peak pattern is still valid. Until it invalidates, we are essentially we're pending a downward move. We are in the flagging formation until we get outside of this range. So, if I were to redraw this with lines instead of pens, you can see the upward trend. Change it to red. You can see then the pullback. You can see the flagging coming across here right now. And then you can see the additional flagging coming across here. So what we're looking at, guys, is we're technically in a flagging uptrend until we break to the downside somewhere over here, or until we get above this level right here. So we've got to get above that 99,800 level or below the 90,680 level as a breakdown, meaning breaking below this level or breaking above this upper level as a clear definition. In the meantime, we can trade this range. You can day trade or swing trade this intraday range all you like. Just remember that we're in an upward flagging formation until we break downward. So that means you have a bias to the upside right now until it breaks downward. And because of this pattern right now, without being broken, I would say that we've got about a 65% chance of a downward price break in Bitcoin. So again, not overly bullish this yet. We do have the QQQ and the SPY have both moved to the upside, meaning they've invalidated this pattern. I am expecting some sort of a surprise before Christmas or before the end of the year. So I'll mark the end of the year right here, and I will mark Christmas right here. So we have a bit of a window here, roughly about 2.5 weeks, that we could have a bit of a surprise from anywhere. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff going on in South Korea and who knows what else. So be aware. We could have a bit of a surprise coming up over the next 15 to 25 days. And I think traders would be very wise to continue to stay in an 80 to 85% cash position, trading very small quantities until we get past this inauguration and transitional period. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave you there, and we'll see how things play out today. Okay, go get some.